Welcome to Rejuvenative Health Solution. Welcome to Rejuvenative Lifestyle. Today I am going to connect three very important ideas: primary prevention, secondary prevention, and metabolic flexibility. Prevention tells us when to act. Do we act before damage happens, or do we act after the early warning signs appear? Metabolic flexibility is about the body's ability to use both glucose and fat efficiently for energy. This is the backbone of lifestyle medicine. When the body can switch fuels properly, energy becomes more stable, cravings reduce, glucose control improves, and the entire system becomes more resilient. My goal today is to make this simple, scientific, and practical, so that you can begin applying it in your own life immediately. Prevention is about timing. The earliest way to understand, the easiest way to understand prevention is to think of a leaky roof. The primary prevention is like replacing old shingles before it rains. Nothing has leaked yet, but you know that if you ignore the roof, damage may happen very soon. Secondary prevention is like putting a bucket underneath a small drip. The leak has started, but the ceiling has not collapsed. You still have time to act. Health works the same way. In primary prevention, we act before the organ damage, symptoms, or abnormal lab values appear. In secondary prevention, early risk has already started, such as rising blood pressure, rising A1C, or even early plaque formation. But the window to prevent major complications is still open. So prevention is not only about disease, prevention is all about the timing. Primary prevention. Primary prevention means acting before a disease or injury has ever occurred. The goal is simple: keep the healthy people healthy. Common examples include vaccinations, infection prevention, seat belts, safety habits, balanced diet, regular exercise, stopping smoking, improving sleep, and reducing stress. The important point here is a person may feel completely normal and have no symptoms, and even may have normal lab reports. But that does not mean lifestyle does not matter. In today's world, many metabolic problems begin silently. A1C, blood pressure, cholesterol, weight, sleep quality, sleep physiology, all may begin to change years before a person feels sick. So primary prevention means we do not wait for the first abnormal report. We build protective habits early. Secondary prevention begins when early risk is detected. For example, the blood pressure may begin to rise, A1C may move into pre-diabetic range, a mammogram may detect an early abnormality, or someone may have had a warning event such as a small heart attack. But now the goal is to prevent the next one. This is not failure. This is a powerful rescue window. Many people live long and meaningful lives after early detection because they act at the right time. The earlier we detect the risk, more opportunity we have to reverse, control, or slow the disease process. In lifestyle medicine, secondary prevention is especially important because the body often gives us warning signals before the irreversible damage happens. Now let us compare primary and secondary prevention side by side. Primary prevention is before the disease. The goal is to prevent the disease from happening in the first place. The secondary prevention is after the early risk appears. The goal is to detect and treat early before the symptoms or complications appear. Primary prevention is for people who appear healthy. Secondary prevention is for people who may already have risk factors, abnormal labs, or silent disease. But the mission is the same: protect the body before the major damage happens. In lifestyle medicine, we often use both at the same time. A person may be doing primary prevention for heart disease while doing secondary prevention for pre-diabetes or high blood pressure. So the mindset is build resilience early and catch a small drip before the ceiling collapses. Now we come to the backbone, the metabolic flexibility. The metabolic flexibility means body's ability to switch fuel source smoothly. After a meal, he is able to use glucose, and that it can do it very efficiently. During fasting though, it is like during sleep or low intensity movement, the body should be able to switch to stored fat as a fuel. Think of a hybrid car. A hybrid car does not rely on a single mode. It can shift between the gasoline and battery depending on the situation. The human body is similarly designed. We should be able to burn glucose when it is available, but burn fat when it is not available. When this switch works well, energy becomes steady, hunger becomes more manageable, exercise capacity improves, weight regulation becomes easy, and glucose controls becomes more stable. That is the reason why metabolic flexibility is central to both primary and secondary prevention. The metabolic inflexibility. This problem begins when the body gets stuck in the glucose burning mode. When the glucose is available, the body uses glucose. But when the glucose drops, body should calmly shift towards fat burning. If that shift does not happen smoothly, the body starts sending distress signals like energy crashes, brain fog, sugar cravings, irritability, and frequent hunger. Over time, this pattern can be associated with insulin resistance, weight gain, rising A1C, high blood pressure, fatty liver, or increased cardiometabolic risk. This does not happen overnight. It develops slowly over years. The goal of lifestyle change is not simply to eat less. The deeper goal is to retrain the body so it can access stored fuel again. This is metabolic flexibility. Food timing and diet quality. The first training tool is food timing. When we eat too frequently, from early morning till late night, insulin remains elevated for a long time. When insulin stays high, stored fat becomes difficult to access. A simple overnight fasting window of about 12 to 16 hours can help the body practice using stored energy. This does not have to be extreme. It has to be done consistently and safely. The second tool is diet quality. Refined carbohydrates and sugar create rapid glucose spikes. Instead, we want to use food that produces stable energy like fiber-rich vegetables, adequate protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates in the right amount. A very practical sequence is fiber first, protein next, healthy fat to go with it, then complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates, if used, should be small and occasional, mainly for satisfaction, not as the foundation of the meal. The goal is not restriction. The goal is better fuel signaling. Moving with intent. Exercise is one of the most powerful ways to improve metabolic flexibility. But exercise is not just one thing. Different types of exercise train different parts of this engine. Cardio, zone 2 cardio, for example, brisk walking, steady jogging, cycling, or similar endurance work helps build mitochondria. Mitochondria are energy factories that help burn fat efficiently. High intensity interval training uses stored glucose and pushes the body to adapt. This must be done carefully and gradually, especially for the beginners. Endurance training builds muscle. Muscle is one of the safest and most important places to store glucose. More functional muscle means better glucose handling. So the best plan is not only walking, not only weights, not only intensity, but it combines endurance, strength, flexibility, and appropriate intensity over the entire week. Now our job is to protect this metabolic switch. Food and exercise are important, but sleep and stress decide whether the body cooperates or not. Poor sleep can raise hunger signals, worsen glucose control the next day. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and elevated cortisol can increase insulin resistance, make liver release more glucose, and increase blood pressure. That is the reason why relaxation is not optional. It is metabolic medicine. That is why our signature practice of Sagun Siddhi Sadhana is important. The purpose is to bring mind inward, reduce unnecessary mental activity, lower stress physiology, and prepare the body for repair. The practical formula is simple. Consistent fasting window, whole food, low glycemic index load, regular endurance and strength training, hydration, good quality sleep, and daily relaxation. If someone uses CGM, Aura Ring, Apple Watch, or weight tracking, these tools can provide feedback. But the real transformation comes from consistent habits, and metabolic flexibility is the foundation. When we protect it, we support primary prevention, secondary prevention, and long-term health resilience. Thanks for listening.